What's up, Trojan fans? Welcome back to Coliseum Chronicles Live with Casey Caslin and Terrence Holton here on this wonderful Friday morning. As you can see, Terrence in the background is at the iconic bricks of USC buildings.
Hmm.
I'm still in the Bay Area, so Terrence is our correspondent in the Bay Area, or excuse me, in LA. I'm in the Bay Area for this episode, but we have a lot to talk about today. It is the off season, but of course, there's still a lot of chatter about USC football as a whole going on. We have some rankings to go over and some stuff that we maybe don't necessarily agree with. Um,
Hmm.
Terrence, how are you doing? And I mean, I'm sure you've walked past the Bloom facility. How's that looking, just in your view? Now that you're on campus.
Yeah, no, Casey, it's looking great. It's coming along fantastic. We're not going to go too much into it because Ethan and Matt went did that last night on their episode, so go watch theirs too. But as you know, they placed the last beam on the exterior, I guess. So now they're going to start working on the interior. Really, what people care about. It's going to be a massive recruiting tool. It's looking great. It's huge. It kind of messes up when I go walk around campus, it kind of messes up my route because there's all that construction there. But yeah, it's looking great.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like something that we're gonna definitely look back on and be like, wow, that was something that really helped our recruiting. And I'm sure it's already in the pitch to the guys we're seeing in the 26 class because it's supposed to be done
Uh-huh.
in just a few months.
Yeah. I mean,
So
wasn't like one of the reasons Jakeem Stewart came here was because of like the facilities and stuff like that. He was like excited about
yeah,
that.
yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
I think there's him and
that's
there's
pretty
probably
good.
others that we that didn't necessarily hear about that are really excited about that. And I mean, we saw a guy in Ryder Lyons not commit to USC, and I think that was kind of
Not that
expected at this
surprising.
point.
Yeah.
Not surprised at all at this point, but I think that's like kind of the only recruiting news we have in between last episode and this one
Not
that
too much.
sort of pertains to USC. I know he was obviously crystal balled to USC quite a bit early on, but after USC got Jonas Williams, I think they're really high on him. And Ryder Lyons obviously is going on a mission for LDS, so he's not going to be playing for a couple years. 2027, I think, is his ETA. So yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I do actually think I actually saw one thing. He actually had his LDS mission like it was shorter because I think literally because so he can play football quicker. Like I saw some crazy thing about like he's doing it early or something like that. What's going
Wow.
on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think really quickly before we talk about more USC stuff, we gotta just mention how Oregon on the bunch of the 2026 QBs swing and a miss. They have
Yeah.
missed on like everyone. They missed on Ryder Lyons, Jonas Williams, and Jared Curtis. All guys who Oregon was in the top two, top three of, or in Jonas Williams' case, was committed to. And they settled with Bryson Beaver, who decommitted from Boise State to go there. And I think we got to talk about another thing the instant rankings raise he had as soon as he committed to Oregon, because he was like a mid three-star at Boise State.
Yeah.
He commits to Oregon. He starts getting crystal balled, and as soon as that happens, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's top 200 players. Like, all right, dude, Oregon's paying off the recruiters, but you didn't hear that from me.
I mean, are we really surprised though? Like, when's the last time Oregon developed a good QB? Like, they always just inherit a guy who's just been, playing
I,
good somewhere else.
I hate to be that guy, but Justin Herbert, well, it wasn't that long ago.
Okay, no, I mean that's still 5 years ago though. Like
It's true.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
5 years is still a lot of time. Like, and that's also like pre. I mean, the transfer portal was still a thing, obviously, but it wasn't like how it was now. So to think that USC in that meantime has brought in. I mean, they've also had transfer QBs, but USC has like a guy like Hassan Longstreet, who is a 5-star QB in this class, and while
Mhm.
they have a 3-star next year. So
Mhm.
unless they really play their cards right, they're not going to have anybody who is going to sniff that echelon.
Mhm. Yeah, just answering this comment. Team Hines, Casey, and I, we've done our wide receiver breakdown a couple weeks ago. Both very high on Tanu Hines. Yeah, we're excited. He's going to contribute a lot as freshman, obviously. Jacoby Lane, Makai Lemon, those guys are up there. Which actually, that's a pretty good segment to what we want to talk about. Recently, I'm going to share my screen here.
Yeah,
Recently, let me make sure I can do this right. PFF ranked Makai Lemon. Can you see this?
yeah,
as the number one wide receiver. Their early wide receiver one for the 2026 NFL draft. And why didn't I pull up? I pulled up the wrong one. I pulled up just this one with the just Mekhi Lemon as just the headline, because there's another one with their rankings that we can look over. So hold on, give me 1 second, because this is the wrong
Yeah.
one.
I mean, I can
you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I also saw it. I mean, I can kind of go over. So Lemon's number 1, Jordan Tyson from Arizona State number 2, Eugene Wilson number 3, Denzel Boston number 4. He's a guy I was really high on a few years ago, and he didn't get that many touches when I was liking his game, but he's number 4. Antonio Williams number 5, Deion Burks from Oklahoma number 6, Elijah Surratt from Indiana 7, Chase Roberts from BYU 8, Carnell Tate number 9.
I got it here. I can visualize it now.
It.
Yeah. Here we go. Screen. And Casey, you're gonna have to tell me if there's like comments or anything like that. No, wait, there it is. Because I can't see it while I was sharing the screen. All right. Yeah, here is the list right here. Mekhi Lemon, obviously number 1. I don't think any of us are surprised by that. He's a fantastic receiver, great at separation, great in the open field, catches almost anything. But a lot of these guys, should we be surprised that Jacoby Lane isn't here?
Honestly, kind of, yeah. I mean, I think he's better than like at least half of these guys.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the list. I think Carnell Tate's really good. I think Nick Anderson's really good. Elijah Surratt's pretty good. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else they missed. I think Evan Stewart would have been up there had he not gotten injured. Jordan Tyson's great. I think Jacoby Lane's better than a lot of these guys, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, biased opinion, but I mean, I think he's better than. I'd put him at 6, 7. Is that fair? Because I like Denzel Boston, Eugene Wilson, and Antonio Williams a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think, I mean, you got to remember that Jacoby Lane had, the season he had while in a much more limited role than a lot of these guys.
Right.
And his role is only going to grow. I think Mekhi Lemon's role is going to be bigger than his just because he's more dynamic in a lot of different situations. But I still think Jacoby Lane has the really good measurables that are going to make him such a good NFL receiver. And I think, this is the draft order of receivers pretty much. These are, it's not just who's the best receiver. It's who's the best receiver who's going to be eligible for the draft. And so I don't see why Jacoby Lane wouldn't be there.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I mean, as you've talked about, he had a relatively limited role, especially because there was times where we kind of thought he may have been beefing with Lincoln Riley late in the season. And he still had 12 touchdowns. Granted, 6 of those came in 2 games, but he still makes absurd catches. He's probably the best 50-50. No, I'll put Jeremiah Smith as number 1, but I'll put him as the second best 50-50 ball guy in college football. I think that's fair.
I think that's a good fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, wanted to share that. We'll share some other stuff later. Josh Arena, another one, Bear Alexander. We talked about him too, because there's a clip that Casey showed us of him just getting absolutely thrown down at Oregon practice early. Going there makes no sense it's just I don't want to say an upgrade, because I think our D-line might be better than theirs, but it's also like they do have plenty of guys. It's a better coach than Dan Lanning, with all due respect, of course. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ship has sailed with him for sure.
Very much so.
I just think it's a guy that kind of he had a good career going for him, and then it kind of just went away. And I don't know if that was because of it.
It's just kind of his thing that he's gone to different schools like every year. He's a journeyman on purpose for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't have to leave Georgia. He won a national championship there. He could have stayed, and he goes to USC, which, we were grateful at the time when he came, but, he didn't really do much. So,
yeah, when he was playing, he was pretty good, but he wasn't anything special. He wasn't like a true game wrecker like we kind of thought he would be. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, and then in 2024, I mean, he didn't really.
No, he played 3 games, then decided, they're not playing me enough. Okay, dude, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
Go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have a couple other more rankings we could go over.
Let's do it.
Why don't we go? Always Talking Ball had their 2025 Big Ten QB rankings come out.
Yep.
Should we go over that?
Yeah.
So it might ruffle some feathers, maybe.
Yeah, so this is Always Talking Ball. This is a college football Instagram account, maybe college basketball too. But this is their Big Ten quarterback rankings. We've kind of gone over a couple of these before with Jane Mayava, but Drew Aller 1, Fernando Mendoza 2, Damon Williams 3, Dante Moore 4, Luke Altmaier 5, Julian Sayin 6, Jade Mayava 7, and Bryce Underwood 8. Casey, what are your initial thoughts on that?
I think this list is pretty off, honestly. I would put Altmaier like 3,
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
I think Fernando's pretty overrated. Like we haven't seen him play in the Big Ten yet, and I know that's not a huge deal, but he's played, weak ACC and Pac-12
Right.
for the most part his whole career. Again, Dante Moore like ahead of Altmaier feels weird. I think Mayava is better than Sayin. I'm just gonna put that out there. And I know Sayin hasn't really played yet, but that's my take. And again, I think Damon Williams is good, but I feel like people are acting like he's like the second coming of Michael Penix, and he hasn't even done anything yet. So I don't know. I think this list is pretty upside down.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Dante Moore, I've talked about this to you. The problem with Dante Moore, you can't really rate him high anymore, is the thing, because of the pass catching situation at Oregon. Obviously, Evan Stewart goes down. It's horrible. It sucks. Really fun player to watch. But now all you have at Oregon is like their pass catching. It's like 47 total combined passes caught between all of them. And that's including guys like Gary Bryant Jr., former USC, as well as Kenyon Sadiq, who's the tight end. It's just, it's not enough. Sorry, what?
DeCorian Moore.
Yeah, I mean the number one receiver. He'll have an expanded role, so we'll see about him. But it's not enough where he really can thrive, in my opinion. We have a comment here, Josh. Jaden was playing through injury last year. That Lincoln Riley had him squashing mobility desires. Mark Holcomb was saying that Lincoln Riley might. I would hope so. Yeah, that's kind of what I would hear. Wait, actually, I'll leave this up. I would kind of assume so, just because. Sorry, I'm blocking Casey though. Here, okay, take it down. Your face is cut off. Yeah, no, I would hope so that he gets the training wheels off. I mean, what we saw in Mayava, he was still decently mobile, a lot more than Miller, obviously. But I just think that overall, he's going to be a lot better. I think that he is better than a lot of these guys on here. A lot of these guys have not really played much in the Big Ten. You look at 3 of these guys, I'll even throw Dante Moore in there. I'll throw, wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4 of these guys have not played a real Big Ten game. Damon Williams, he played Oregon, he played Louisville. And those are the only 2 starts in his career. And he played one other, and I'm forgetting against 2, even Michigan. But no real guys against Big Ten play. Jaden Mayava, though it's limited action, he's actually played against Big Ten opponents. I think he's going to be a lot better than a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Big Ten this year, like the quarterback situation across the board is not as good as it has been. But I still think Mayava, like to the point about the training wheels, it's a guy that came in as a young quarterback. He was only a sophomore last year, right? So he has a lot that he can still retool going into this year. And if the injury thing is true, like, I mean, his O-line was also not great at all. So he had to deal with that. And it felt like he was being held back. So I think his ceiling is really high this year, I feel like.
Yeah, agreed. And just another one from Josh. He does have a bad habit of throwing the other team. I've always kind of said he's like a budget Caleb Williams, because Caleb could get out of every single play, and he would also make good decisions with the ball. Jaden can get out of most plays, but does not always make the right decision with the ball. Does that sound right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's something he needs to work on.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think there's a real chance that this list could be completely different, like by week 3, even.
Yeah,
like, yeah. So I think that's my final thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see a lot of these guys against real teams early. Not really Mayava, actually. He plays Purdue, Georgia Southern, and Missouri State. But Bryce Underwood and no, not Bryce Underwood, excuse me. But Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, they're all playing real opponents. And then Aller and Moore, Penn State, Oregon, September 27th. So that'll be a
I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I see the comment on the Instagram post itself. Are you where would you put Dylan Raiola?
Ooh.
Where you put him in
I'd
your
put him
top 8?
above. Yeah, I would. I'd put him above probably Bryce Underwood. I mean, Underwood's great. You don't know that though. We don't know. He hasn't thrown a single ball.
Yeah.
It's very possible that he comes in and is honestly probably could be the best QB in the Big Ten. That's what everyone seems to think. That's what his potential shows. So that's possible. But right now, I feel like you have to put Dylan Raiola there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he proved a lot his first year. Like, love him or hate him, like he did things last year that exceeded my expectations for a true freshman. Like
Right.
I think he won more games than I thought he would.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, they won like 6 games. I mean, Nebraska is one of those teams where I very much think they could win either 6 games or like 10. They have a pretty favorable schedule.
That's a good segue to maybe the next one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we have
Pull that
another.
up.
Let's
Another
do,
rankings. That's basically what we've been pulling up. Just a bunch of all these preseason ridiculous rankings. Where is it? Here we go. So every Big Ten team's best and worst case scenario in 2025. We can talk about all the others if we wanted to, but USC 11-1 best case, 5-7 worst
wow.
case scenario. It's obviously worst case. Who do you think that they have us losing to though in that 5-7 scenario?
Okay, that's a good question. So we can get Notre Dame and Oregon out of the way.
Yep.
Um,
I'll throw Michigan and Illinois in there too.
Michigan State, honestly, I'd throw in there.
And I bet at Nebraska.
Yeah, is that 7? Illinois, you said them.
Yeah, Illinois, Oregon, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Michigan State. So I said 6. Who did I miss?
Maybe Iowa.
Iowa. Yeah. Did we count? I forget if we counted it. Right. Yeah, because I mean, let's throw in the wins there. UCLA, Georgia Southern, Missouri State, Purdue, Northwestern. Yeah. So yeah, Iowa. I just can't see that happening at all. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I understand it's like a best and worst case scenario. I still think the floor is 7-5, and best case, yeah. I mean, maybe with Oregon not having a pretty limited passing game, that's the one win they're talking about.
My question is, Washington best case scenario being 11-1 is insane to me. They
that's
play.
crazy. I don't know their schedule.
I know their schedule. They're playing Oregon. They're playing Illinois.
Okay.
They're playing Ohio
Where do
State.
they play Illinois? Ooh, they're not beating. I guess they play Oregon at home, so maybe that's it.
Maybe, but they still have to play Michigan away.
Yeah,
they have to play. They have to play Wisconsin, which isn't that easy to win there.
I'll be honest. I am a little glad that USC is not playing Washington. I think that Damon Williams and Jonah Coleman is a really dangerous backfield. Obviously, not really backfield because one's the quarterback, but Williams can run. Jonah Coleman, obviously, I'd say he's probably the best running back in the Big Ten. That feels fair. Yeah. Obviously, of course, after Wayman Jordan or Eli Sanders, or whoever comes out of that running back room as the lead back.
Wait. Wait. Hold on. What about the Penn State backfield?
Oh yeah, I mean Katron Allen and Nick Singleton again. Well, I guess yeah. Okay, yeah, never mind. But anyways, back to USC. 11-1. It still does feel a little generous. I'll be honest. I think they're thinking about the Oregon win because, I mean, the problem is USC hasn't won in Eugene in 15 years, and they haven't won in South Bend in 11? Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So those are obviously the most difficult games. Could I see them winning one of them? Sure. I think it's a lot more likely they win the Oregon game, though. I think Oregon's a bit more depleted than Notre Dame because Notre Dame, they don't have a great quarterback situation. They still are going to have a phenomenal defense, phenomenal run game. That's what, yeah.
Is it crazy to say that if USC wins one of those games, like of those two on the schedule that everyone's looking at, then they make the CFP?
If USC wins,
at least
USC loses to Oregon and Notre Dame, is that what you're talking about?
I'm saying if USC wins at least one of those two, then they'll make the CFP.
I mean, if they go 11-1, then yeah.
But I mean, like, they won't know if they're going to go 11-1 because those games aren't necessarily at the end of the season. Is what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is, like, if USC, because they're playing I guess they are playing Oregon late in the year, but if they're
They
playing
play Oregon second last game.
If they beat Notre Dame in October, and they're undefeated at that point, like I think which they probably could be because their schedule's not terribly hard up to that point.
Yeah, they could go into South Bend undefeated for sure.
Yeah, if they win that game in South Bend, like that might have. I'm not going to say clinch the CFP, but then
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
but the schedule will be downhill from there, and they could afford to lose to Oregon. Is what I'm saying down the stretch.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that could knock you because Oregon will still probably be up there. They have a pretty favorable schedule. Their hardest out of conference is Oklahoma State, who isn't fantastic. They don't play Ohio State. I think they play Michigan at home. They play at Penn State. That's their hardest game. Two things from Josh, but no, if USC makes CFP, I assume. Yeah, I mean, I just think that as soon as USC starts showing real life in the Big Ten, then they're going to start truly dominating recruiting, dominating all sorts of that stuff. Because Oregon right now, they've, past couple of years just won more than USC aside from 2022. As soon as USC starts actually winning and actually showing that they can do this in the Big Ten, they're going to start dominating. I think they'll very quickly rise up to that Ohio State level, because Ohio State, and I'll throw Michigan in there too, just because we also have that prestige that a lot of these West Coast schools do not, especially Oregon.
Yeah. Do you want to go maybe to the second slide of this so we can see like UCLA and
Oh, sure. I didn't even know there's a second slide. Yeah. UCLA 9-3. Wow. I was looking at their schedule the other day. That is not a 9-win team in any level.
I mean, yeah, they have a pretty tough schedule for them. I mean, they have Ohio State away.
Yeah.
They have Penn State at home.
They have Wisconsin at home.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State away isn't going to be terribly easy. They have Indiana away. That's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
They have Utah.
What about Washington? I think they play Washington home.
Yeah, they do have Washington home the week before.
I don't know why we're acting like home is like such an advantage, though. That doesn't mean anything to them. It's just like the fact that they don't have to play on the road. That's their only advantage.
Well, but their home games are pretty much like road games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think even like Purdue, best case at 6-6 is pretty funny, but
yeah, I mean, I think UCLA, 2 wins. Yeah, they're not going to be good. I don't know why people think that Nico Iamaleava is going to be this massive game changer. They don't have weapons around him is the thing.
Yeah. Dare I say UCLA is going to lose to UNLV week 2?
No, that's not ridiculous to say that. Dan Mullen there, great coach.
Yeah. Well, that's
not
out of conference games that they should win that they scheduled. So, yeah, they scheduled Utah also, which is kind of funny. They'll beat New Mexico, but
probably. All right. Anyways, back to this isn't a UCLA show. Anyways, USC 11-1, 5-7. Not absurd to say any of those things at all. Yeah, I saw Max Brown. You sent me this. I saw Max Brown, the former USC quarterback. He predicted USC schedule. Yeah, you sent me this. 8-4. That's another thing. We're just looking at. We're looking at a bunch of different schedule previews. That's the point of the summer we're at right now.
So he had the losses to Illinois, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Michigan. Or am I? I know it was those first 3 were right.
No, it was Nebraska. I think.
Oh, Nebraska. Okay.
A win versus Michigan and a loss to Nebraska.
I mean, we already talked on this show about our predictions. I mean, I think it's a fair. I mean, he knows better than us. Like he's a pro at this.
Impossible.
But I think honestly they can beat Nebraska. I do agree with those other 3 losses potentially, but I think they can beat Nebraska on the road. They beat them last year. I know it was at home, and Nebraska's a tough place to play. But that was literally Jaden Mayaba's first game in like a year. Yeah. I love the throwback uniforms that game though. That was pretty sick.
It was awesome. They need to bring those back. Those were awesome.
Bring back a white version though, too.
White version, yeah, that would be fun.
Full time, but yeah.
Also, call me a non purest USC fan, we're just getting all off here, but wouldn't a black jersey look sick, like a black and red? What?
It would look cool, but like it would be too much like Stanford or like, you know.
Like maybe, but I think you could still make it work where it looks USC, like a black and red jersey and like a red helmet. Like once again, call me not a real USC fan, but
Josh has got it spot on. They need to bring back the chrome helmets and then a white uniform, or the white throwback uniform.
that would be so fun. That would be great. Yeah.
However, the throwbacks from last year were like the best uniforms in college football, like in my opinion, way better than UCLA's throwbacks. However, you know what I would love to see? UCLA playing USC and both teams wear their throwbacks. I know it won't happen, but like I don't like the UCLA throwbacks. I think they look too much like UNC kind of.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if they wore them against USC while they wore their throwbacks. I think that would be elite.
I completely agree with that. I mean, the best part, in my opinion, about the USC UCLA rival is how they both wear home colors. Like that's awesome. It makes the rivalry special from other rivalries. It's fun. I think that would look very cool. It like you said, that'll never happen. So
yeah, probably not. Should we go back to the Max Brown thing? Yeah, I mean we've already done our schedule preview. Like that was our very first episode, but
we'll probably do it again before season starts. You know, revitalize.
Yeah. I mean, what are our? I mean. Thoughts going forward on just, any of the recruiting stuff, going on. I know I don't think we've landed a recruit since our last episode,
we are very much in the slow days of summer football. There's not a lot of recruiting going on. I don't think we have anyone on visits right now. I could be mistaken. Well, not right now, obviously, but this weekend, next weekend. There's not a lot happening. I don't have much going on. I mean, the Bloom, I'll provide updates as the person on campus, but it's just construction right now. As soon as it opens, I bet one of us will be able to get a tour through one of our various affiliates. Casey's play-by-play host. We're students here, and I work for NBC Los Angeles, so we'll be able to get some sort of credentials into that. Look at really what makes it cool, what'll make the athletes love it, obviously. But yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, and guys, make sure to follow us on X and Instagram if you want to, because we do post a lot of USC updates on there. Like, again, we're both credentialed to USC sporting events, not just football, but pretty much everything we want to go to, we can get access to. So make sure to drop us a follow there if you haven't already, because we will be posting stuff there routinely during the season. I'll be at every away game for USC football. So, I mean, I'll be literally on the scene when something happens. So make sure to drop a follow. Terrence will be in the press box as well. And we could probably do a show at some point from the press box. I'm sure we could figure that out if we want.
Figure something out, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, just because obviously you're going to be at every single away game, what is going to be the best? What away game are you most excited about?
Okay, I was thinking about that because I've been to Autzen before. So, I mean, they have a great atmosphere there. I'll give them that, but I've already done it. I'm really excited for Nebraska, though. I think, Nebraska football, there's like not much to do in Nebraska. So, football is a big thing there. Obviously, the team was a dynasty, 30 years ago. So they still have those glory days. I'm excited for that. I mean, I'm excited for South Bend as well. I'm not as excited for Illinois. I mean, it'll be fun, but it's not like a premier atmosphere by any means. Right. And then that just leaves Purdue, which I think could be cool, but they're a pretty bad team. And I don't think I think it'd be cool to check out the town, West Lafayette.
What is with you, West Lafayette?
I don't know.
It's a very random one.
I'm going to go my number one, Nebraska, South Bend, number two.
I think, those are both good ones, Josh. I think Nebraska actually would be super fun. I mean, that's such like a random one that USC obviously never really played them in the past, especially during the season. At least not often, I'll say. It's fun they get to actually play like a conference away game there. And what is it, November 1st, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Halloween weekend. Yep.
All the weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky games, spooky times in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
But yeah, Casey, that's just gonna about do us here. Like we mentioned, we both have busy schedules this summer, unfortunately, so we can't do longer shows. We can't do more breakdown stuff. We can't have a different time other than 11 on a Friday. But Casey, any other thoughts?
Well, the best thing about all this is we actually do have a lot of episodes you can go back and watch that are more evergreen. Like we did receiver rankings for this year, and kind of all that fun stuff going into the season, like depth chart breakdown and all that. So even though we're not talking about it today necessarily, nothing has really changed from 2 months ago to now necessarily. So make sure to watch those old videos as well, and again, make sure to follow us on socials, and we'll reach out back to you if you have any questions. So thanks again for tuning in.
100%. All right, that's going to do it for us. Everyone, have a good weekend and fight on.